Preface of Heroes of the Middle Ages. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Kristine. Heroes of the Middle Ages by Eva M. Tappan. Preface. I have sometimes wondered if everyone realizes how startlingly independent and isolated a historical fact is to the young reader. It has happened before his remembrance, and that alone is enough to put it into another world. It is outside of his own experience. It has appeared to him by no familiar road, but from unknown regions of space. The object of this book is to bring together stories of the most important movements in the history of Europe during the Middle Ages, and to make familiar the names of the most important figures in those scenes. I have endeavored to weave a tapestry in which, with due color, may be traced the history of the rise and fall of the various nationalities, and the circumstances and mode of life of each; in short, to give the young reader an approximation to the background for the study of his country's history, which a wide reading gives to a man. Eva March Tappan. End of the preface. Chapter 1 of Heroes of the Middle Ages. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Heroes of the Middle Ages by Eva M. Tappan. Chapter 1 Alaric the Visigoth besieges Rome. But thou imperial city, thou hast stood in greatness once, in sackcloth now and tears, a mighty name, for evil or for good, even in the loneliness of thy widowed years, thou that hast gazed, as the world hurried by, upon its headlong course with sad prophetic eye. If an Italian country boy had been taken to visit Rome 1500 years ago, he would have found much to see. There were temples and theatres and baths. There were aqueducts, sometimes with arches 100 feet high, stretching far out into the country to bring pure water to the city. There was an open space known as the Forum, where the people came together for public meetings, and in this space were beautiful pillars and arches and statues of famous Romans. Around the Forum were palaces and temples and the Senate House, and directly in front of the Senate House was a platform on which speakers stood when they wished to address the people. The platform was called the Rostrum, which is a Latin word meaning the beak of a warship, because it was adorned with the beaks of ships which the Romans had captured. Another open space was the great race course, the Circus Maximus, in which 215,000 people could sit and watch leaping, wrestling, boxing, foot races, and especially the famous four-horse chariot races. There was the Colosseum too, where gladiators, generally captives or slaves, fought with one another or with wild beasts. The Roman streets were narrow, and they seemed still narrower because many houses were built with their upper stories projecting over the lower, but in those narrow streets there was always something of interest. Sometimes it was a wedding procession with torches and songs and the music of the flute. Sometimes it was a funeral train with not only the friends of the dead man, but also trumpeters and pipers. In the long line walked hired actors wearing waxen masks made to imitate the faces of the dead person's ancestors. Early in the morning one could see crowds of clients, each one hastening to the home of his patron, some wealthy man who was expected to give him either food or money. Rome was built upon 7 hills, and most of these men of wealth lived either on the Palatine or the Esquiline Hill. After a patron had received his client,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?